Hey, what's up guys, Tech9 here and I'm back again with a brand new video. So the Galaxy A26 has been my daily phone for the past 2 days, and essentially what I want to do with this video is give you my user experience now that I've had this phone for 2 days, and essentially try and draw a conclusion to see if this phone is worth it in your eye or not. Now, basically what I was able to put together is this. This is the kind of display of the Galaxy A16 combined with the sort of design aspect or design inspiration of the Galaxy A36, and it's literally the middle child, the Samsung Galaxy A26. Should it even exist? Okay, so let's go ahead and basically give you a rough idea, beginning with sort of the design itself. Now, the first thing that you need to notice is the fingerprint sensor is located on the right hand side within the power button, so it's not an in-display fingerprint sensor, it's an actual dedicated physical fingerprint sensor integrated within the power button. And the volume up and down is also up on the right hand side, and you still have this kind of small indentation to kind of give it a unique design aspect. On the bottom of the phone, the USB-C is capable of charging up to 25 watt wired, no wireless charging. You also get your bottom facing speaker, and essentially the two basic material of this phone is glass and plastic. So glass on the front and the back, both Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, but the sides of the phone are basically made out of plastic. Now, how do I feel about the design? Very similar to the A36, like I said. Do I like it? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty cool design. Do I wish that it had a sort of a wow factor? Yeah, of course. But for $299, it's cool. It's just what I would expect from Samsung. I mean, they didn't really change their main flagship. Why would they change the design of their A lineup? They actually did a better job with their A lineup design, in my opinion, than they did with the S lineup, but that's a video for another day. Another thing that I want to mention about the design and just general is that this phone does support IP67 water and dust rating, meaning that it will handle water for up to 30 minutes. I still don't trust any phone with water submersion unless it's physically certified and the warranty covers that water damage, but that's just my personal opinion. So moving on to the display portion, I want to say this. This is essentially the Galaxy A16's display with slight tweakness here and there. So it's the same 1080p AMOLED display. It's a 6.7 inch, and some people are going to have an issue with that teardrop notch, which I get it. It's not the best in the world. It doesn't make this phone look as good as it should, or as good as the Galaxy A36, especially when you look at them side by side, but it is a pretty good display. I do have to say, if I do want to nick it or nitpick on the actual quality, I will say that it's not as bright as the Galaxy A36. But again, other than the fact that people will complain and will not really like that teardrop notch, want to take their side on the fact that, I mean, come on Samsung, this is the A26, it should be slightly smaller bezels than the A16, but I guess that's what happens to the middle child. However, just to be fair with this display, when it comes to watching content, doing anything that you want to do with this display, it's pretty much more than fine. It's actually really good, and it does have support to 120 Hz of high refresh rate. And if you really think about it from a competition standpoint, I think this phone has the best display at its price bracket, which is $299. The first phone that comes to mind when it comes to this kind of comparison is the Moto G Power from Motorola. Essentially, that phone has a 1080p IPS panel. So theoretically, I know the Motorola's bezels look better, but as far as quality itself, I think the A26 has it beat, hands down. Okay, so I want to switch the topic of conversation and speak about the camera system of the A26. Essentially, you get a triple camera setup. You get a 50 megapixel main sensor. You also get a ultra wide as well as a macro sensor. And in my opinion, this performs very similar, if not slightly better than the Galaxy A36's camera. Believe it or not. And that's just been my testing, and I'll show you guys the pictures to kind of back up what I'm saying. But in addition to that, you do have sort of Samsung's new, more simple camera app. It's still very familiar, but they did change a couple of things here and there, and it takes pictures very quick, and it's easy to switch between your main sensor and your ultra wide. It has a slight delay, but nothing too crazy, and you have up to 10x of digital zoom on this phone, which I guess can come in handy in some scenarios. Video capability, this phone can shoot 4K at 30 or 1080p at 30 or 60 frames per second, and we're going to talk about it here in a little bit. But What I was able to conclude from the 2 days that I spent with it is that this phone, when it comes to really nice lighting conditions, can take some stellar pictures, saturated just like we like from Samsung, and fairly detailed when you use that 50 megapixel camera. And make sure you turn on HDR. The colors will pop. The dynamic range on here is decent. Contrast is not the best, but as an overall picture, it does a pretty good job. Even the selfie camera itself on here did receive a slight improvement from the previous generation, so it does capture better quality selfie. And watch the video capability of this phone and we'll get back to it with some final words. Hey, what's up guys, TechTitan here, and this is your video quality test of the Samsung Galaxy A26. Now, a couple of things that I want to speak on when it comes to the video capability of this phone is that it does shoot 4K at 30 frames per second. It also has 1080p, 60 or 30. Now, the advantages of shooting 1080p at 30 frames per second is you can switch between your main sensor, wide, all in the same kind of, while still taking the same video, so you don't have to pause and change the resolution and do anything like that. And you can even go to the selfie camera while shooting video. So the selfie camera is cropped up quite a bit, but the resolution is not that bad. It's not too shabby. I don't know how the microphone sounds just yet, but I'll just put it in my computer and see. But if you do shoot in 4K, you only have the ability to shoot at the main sensor, and it is quite cropped up, so keep that in mind. However, not too bad. The sky might be a little bit overexposed, so when you kind of point it down and point it back up, so it's not as quick as properly exposing the video, but for a $299 phone, that's not too bad, right? Cool. So from a performance standpoint, there are several models of this phone. If you get the US model, you'll get the Exynos 1380, or I'm sorry, the Exynos 1280, and you will also get 6 gigabytes of RAM. I was able to actually get my hands on the international model just because it does perform slightly better. So it will have the Exynos 1380, and I got the 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabyte of storage. The US model only comes in one storage size and one color, which is black, and the storage size is only 128 gigabytes. It does also have 5000 milliamp hour battery, and it does not have wireless charging. It only has wired charging up to 25 watt. Let me be completely transparent when it comes to the performance. Opening up the daily tasks, anything that would require you to use your phone on a daily, like your phone app, messaging, going through social media, will work fine on this point. Is it going to be the fastest thing in the world? Absolutely not. Is it gonna crash here and there? Yes. It did have moments where I thought this phone was a little bit sluggish, but it wasn't too crazy. When I did a synthetic benchmark, the scores that I was able to get is 884 on a single core and 2094 on a multi-core. What that basically translated to me, just from looking at stats, is that it is slightly underpowered on the fact that it's not as good as the A36, rightfully so, but it is slightly better than the Galaxy A16. Again, rightfully so. So it sits right in the middle. From a user perspective, the past couple of days using this phone, making phone calls, sending text messages, going through social media, I didn't really have issue with it. Where I feel like I had an issue with this phone was in the gaming department. I'm not the best person to ask about gaming. I don't really game a lot on the phone. But when I do, when I test these phones out, I was able to find that it wasn't quite the best experience, but it worked fine. So my conclusion to you is this. For $299, this is definitely a good quality phone for the price. So it will give you a solid camera, it will give you a solid display, minus the notch and minus the big bezels, and it will give you a sleek design that is still under Samsung's trademark. So with that being said, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you feel. Let me know how you feel about the A26, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next one. More videos are coming.